Today I'll be telling you guys about the Samsung S95B and basically its top 3 biggest deal breakers and why they don't matter. So smack a like on this video because I'm getting to the point right now. Now, there's no secret, I highly regard the Samsung S95B. Now, this is important because if you've been watching me for years, you know I have been very critical of Samsung, particularly with their QLED line. Every year it seems that they get worse, and finally in 2022 they have a hit with the S95B. But some people have kind of raised some questions and some alarms, and I just kind of want to weigh in as somebody who basically since day one has had hands-on, not only testing this from a professional perspective, but also from somebody who just owns this product and enjoys this product every single day. So maybe that can give value to you, and again, if it does, smack a like on this video. So the first thing that people have been saying, which is a massive deal breaker, is it doesn't have Dolby Vision. This isn't unique, however, to the Samsung S95B. They've been saying this for years about every single Samsung television. Now, there's no secret Samsung is pretty tone deaf about this. They really couldn't care less if you want Dolby Vision at this point. Or at least that's what I gather from the years of ignoring fans. But it's not a big deal because if you look across the board, many publications have already reported on things like broken HDR, people like HDTV Test included, okay? So it's not a big deal when Dolby Vision isn't exactly implemented because 9 times out of 10, it's probably not going to be correct anyway. How many times, ask yourself this honestly, have you switched from SDR to HDR and the HDR was washed out and the colors were desaturated and looked really bad? Probably often. And it's one of those things where I don't even use HDR because you're always grabbing for the remote to try to adjust it because it always looks so bad. And then there's finally that one piece of content where it looks amazing. And it's a rarity. And when it's a rarity, I feel like the fact that not just Dolby Vision, but HDR in general is so inconsistent, like I don't use it and I don't recommend you use it. So I wouldn't really count that as a deal breaker or a nick against the Samsung S95B in any way because its SDR performance is better than every single TV I have seen at an HDR level with just SDR. That's how much color, vibrancy, brightness this thing kicks out, and it is beautiful, just a wonderful thing. Now, the second major detractor, big deal breaker that people talk about is going to be the fact that it doesn't have a heatsink. Now, this conversation has kind of been rampant once we started seeing LG include the heatsink on things like their Evo panels. Now, for those who are new to this technology, it's basically just a way of dispersing heat, allowing the television to get brighter as a result, which I think personally, by the way, would generate more heat because now you've gained that headroom, right, by cooling it down, but you're raising the temp, so aren't you just adding heat back? Because the brighter something is, the hotter it typically runs. So I feel like this is one of those double-edged sword things that only time will tell. But one thing I can say is there's been an almost alarming amount of people that buy a Sony A95K, for example, that try to scare people and say, oh, it doesn't have a heatsink, you don't want to get the Samsung, you're going to get burn-in because it's brighter. But you see, I've been using this again since basically day one, and I haven't seen so much as image retention on this display. Like, at all. And I've been looking. And I think that is so important because I'm one of those guys that use it for my PC gaming, my PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, my movie watching, my TV watching, literally everything and anything you could do with it, I do it, right? And I think when that's the case, you kind of have to take a step back and realize like, okay, this is a product that does incredibly well and it doesn't necessarily need a heatsink. Now, I have even myself reported on burn-in on this particular model, but from retail examples where they're just sitting on a static menu forever. So long as you're not doing that, it should be like the typical rule with every single OLED before this point in time. And again, need I remind everybody, LG OLED and all of these other companies were not telling you you needed a heatsink back when they didn't have it. It's only now that they have the technology that they're sitting here saying that if you don't have it, OLED is basically useless and is going to burn in. I hope they keep that same energy for their products. So the third big detractor and deal breaker for this TV, and again, one of the reasons it doesn't matter, is basically people are kind of exaggerating. And what I mean is people say that there's a bent screen. I've seen even people like Paul the Tech Giant say, oh my god, my screen's bent kind of thing. It feels like the sensationalism of saying something for the sake of saying it. I have gone through 2 Samsung S95B 55 inches, and not one of them had any kind of bent screen. I go into my local Best Buy and I look at the display model, no screens are bent. I feel like it either happens in transit for people that have products shipped to them regularly to make YouTube videos, like again, Paul the Tech Giant, or somebody who, I don't know, maybe just got really unlucky with the panel lottery or whatever the case may be. But the truth is, when you really look at it, it's not a problem, because I have no issues, and 9 times out of 10, when you run into issues like that, defects like that, the general consensus is that we return those things, exchange them out for a newer unit, and then that unit comes fine. So I feel like a lot of it is people just trying to make a bigger issue out of it than what's necessary, because there is a massive desperation from a lot of people to get you to buy the Sony A95K, pay the Sony tax, because it's better. But I showed you guys in real time, not only is it dimmer than the Samsung S95B substantially in SDR, which will affect you when you're watching over-the-air TV shows, or you're streaming something on Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, doesn't matter, right? It's going to affect you. But also I showed something a little bit more damning, and that not even when they put their Master Series badge on something, right, and they basically let you believe that they're calibrating it to look so amazing, will it look amazing out of the box and you won't need to hire a calibrator at all. And I showed that off in real time, showing that my settings absolutely destroyed it completely and entirely. And there's a big difference before and after. So I think when we talk about the Samsung S95B comparatively to the immediate Quantum Dot OLED competitor, which is Sony, there can be no doubt. Not only is it less expensive, giving you far more features for less money and a lot less money, you're also enjoying just the better experience overall. And no matter how many times you go on these so-called reputable publications, they're not going to tell you that, because again, they run off of something called affiliate link commissions. And what that is in English is just you buy the product by clicking that link and they get a little kickback for it. So of course, the more expensive the product, the higher the commission payout. If you've ever worked a commission job, you know I'm telling you the truth. Now, how I make my money, just so we're completely clear, is crowd and self-funding. And that gives me the freedom to tell you everything as honest as I can, because at the end of the day, there's no reason to lie, because you the viewers, are sponsoring this channel. And that gives me a certain level of power and freedom over the years that nobody else has at this point, okay? And I love being able to point that out, because A, it pisses them off, and B, it helps you with transparency behind these goods and products being made. If you like this kind of thing, smack like on this video, subscribe, join the journey, and we're going to continue to pump out more awesome content like this. That being said, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about these detractors? Are they a big deal to you or not? Let me know down below, and again, thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. Until the next video, I'll see you guys later.